foremost, we are in 2020 in this thing. I cannot even. Welcome to the very first episode of It Was Written Project, y'all. I am so excited to be. What's going on, beautiful people? Asian Mac, I'm back. Welcome to the very last episode of It Was Written Project. Cannot believe I'm here. I made it. A whole year of embracing vulnerability and sharing my story, and I obviously want to thank you guys so much. Thank you to everybody who supported. Thank you for everybody who subscribed to the channel, who watched my videos, everyone who called and texted me to check up on me, after a certain episode, everybody who reached out just to let me know that they enjoyed an episode or to tell me that they could relate, to tell me thank you for doing this. I appreciate you guys so much, you don't even know. This has been such a great process of growth and maturity on so many levels this year because of It Was Written a Project. I've really gotten to know myself so much better, and it's just been like this constant state of learning and becoming, and I love that. So I started It Was Written a Project January 8th, 2020. So I'm a little bit behind on my 1 year episode, but I wanted to, just for fun, take a look back at that episode. For anyone who hasn't seen it, you get to check it out now. I want to know. I've seen the episode again, like after I recorded it, but it's been a long time since I've seen the episode. So what do I remember about that day? I think I just remember being a little bit nervous and not really, just feeling like I don't really know what the reception is going to be, and I got like the greatest, responses and reception. Am I saying that right? Receive? Yeah. In the world. And I was super happy about that. But, did I accomplish what I set out to accomplish? So let's go ahead and check that episode out and see. Got that coffee. What's up, beautiful people? Happy New Year. First and foremost, we are in 2020 in this thing. I cannot even. Welcome to the very first episode of It Was Written Project, y'all. I am so excited to be here. I'm excited to be here with you. I hope that you guys are excited to be here with me. So I think that some of you have been anticipating this for a couple of months, and some of you have like no idea what's happening right now. You're like, what is she doing? Nervous. Well, so this is a new channel. Obviously, I think I have like 21 subscribers right now, which is actually super dope because I am in such anticipation and expectation in reference to this project and this journey. I think it's going to be super cool to see, like, over the course of a year, how much it grows, and then I can be like, I remember when I had 21 subscribers, now I have a million. Let me start by saying that anyone with an open heart and an open mind is welcome here. This channel is actually a project that was placed on my heart, and I somehow found the courage or mustered up the courage rather, to take it on. It is a creative project, and very much so a needed outlet for me, specifically as a person who typically isn't very vulnerable. Absolutely. And definitely does not talk a lot. Spiritually, I really felt compelled to do this. As I'm growing in my relationship with God, the things that I really feel like is Him or are coming from Him, I'm trying to immediately act on those things. So yeah, that's 100%. That was one of the things that these were the two things that I set out to do for 2020. It Was Written a Project, and I wanted to grow in my relationship with God. So I'm happy that I mentioned that there. Anyway, that brings me here. And this is a channel that I decided to dedicate an entire year to. So yeah, all in 2020. Wow. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I actually did this. Basically, it is a full year of storytelling taken from the pages of my personal journals. I know, right? Only a crazy person would
For sure.
I am her, she is me.
I am her, she is me. What's up?
This channel is actually really special to me already because I'm using it, hopefully, as a platform to inspire others, aka you, to embrace vulnerability and share your own story. Which I know sounds like a lot. It may be something that many of you aren't comfortable with, but that's the whole point. To free ourselves, to heal ourselves, and to provide support and hope for the many of us who feel
I'm kind of teary.
us going through the things we're going through, because we're not alone. We're not alone, and I know that for a fact. Even though I'm nervous and borderline afraid, I'm actually also really excited and curious to see how not alone I am in, the things life has thrown at me, or the things I've thrown at myself, let's be honest. So here goes nothing. There's no way I can inspire you guys to embrace vulnerability and share your story without first sharing mine. So I invite you guys on this crazy, crazy ride.
Super crazy.
This is a look inside the candid and grit of a whirlwind that is my story. My prayer, you guys, is for healing, freedom, and new beginnings for myself, help, hope, and inspiration for you guys. Thanks for watching.
I love that video. I love that first episode. Yo, I love that first episode. I like that girl. I loved everything about that first episode. Yo, literally, I loved everything about that first episode. I could tell that I was nervous. But it came off very genuine, because it was. Everything I said in that video absolutely came from the heart, and I'm super proud of the follow through. I can say that what I accomplished, or not what I accomplished, what I set out to accomplish, I think I did. I think that, what I wanted for myself, the freedom, the healing, the new beginnings, 100%. I got that and so much more. What I wanted to give to the people, I think that I reached the hearts and the souls that it was intended for. And so I'm happy about that. The whole thing definitely did not go as planned, that's for sure. I had so many setbacks. I was gonna say midway through, but before that, I think I started to experience like frustration and difficulty when I made the move from New York back to Michigan, because my filming and stuff was off. I had a whole little like workspace when I was in New York, and when I came back home, it was like I just had to figure it out, and I feel like it didn't flow. I feel like the project could have flowed so much better. Not necessarily if I stayed in New York, but if I had the same type of workspace in Michigan that I had in New York. But baby girl did her best, okay? I'm happy though. Even with the setbacks that I faced, I really am happy. I went into it with the objective, why can't I talk? I went into it with the objective of inspiring others by sharing my story. And like I said, I think I did that. I hope I was able to reach those hearts again, those souls that it was intended to reach. But I think what really ended up happening is that, throughout the process, I began to like minister to myself. Then this whole transformation started to happen. I really opened up and inspired healthy change within myself, which I think is super dope. And I don't think that I could have asked for a better, I think that this went exactly the way that it was supposed to go, with the frustrations, with the setbacks, with the change of, New York to Michigan. I think everything was imperfectly perfect. I desired healing for myself. I desired growth for myself. And I got that 100%, like I said, and I pray that I continue to get that. Because obviously just because It Was Written a Project is coming to an end doesn't mean the process does. The journey doesn't come to an end. I'm still living this life. I still got a lot more stuff to F up in and F up with. Let's be honest. Like, it's a constant level, like I said, of growing and becoming. Embracing vulnerability is no easy task. Okay? It is no easy task, but it was a necessary process for me. And it still is, even outside of It Was Written a Project. It was like a project. Embracing vulnerability in everyday life helped me show up completely authentic and unapologetically myself. You know, even when things didn't go the way I wanted, even when things didn't go as planned, I still learned, and I'm continuing to learn. Learning to leave the past where it is and move forward. That's a big thing for me. That's something that I'm still working on right now. Okay. I think one of the greatest things I've learned is that I can choose to do things differently. That I'm in control of my thoughts and I'm in control of my emotions. And nobody can make me feel any way. Period. You know what I'm saying? And that was liberating. Being able, I think, to realize something like, you know, you can't make me mad or you can't offend me. If I am offended, I chose to be offended. I have to choose to be offended. The realization of, wow, I really am responsible for the way that I feel. That was crazy to me. That was growth, all right, with an F, and wisdom. You can't make me feel any type of way. And that kind of like gave me power. 2020, I dedicated that year to It Was Written a Project and growing my relationship with God. Check. Did that. 2021 now, and my faith is truly my foundation. I've made the decision to place God at the center of everything that I do. And so for this year, my declaration for this year is that this is the year that I begin to walk. And for me, that just means clarity. In times past, just bit my tongue. In times past, it's been pretty difficult for me to walk. It's been difficult for me to make a move because I had no idea where I was going. But now the vision is so much clearer for me. The last 2 episodes that I shared with you guys was my homeless story, and hopefully you guys got an opportunity to check that out. But for the longest time, I think you guys know, probably, I was going to say the one thing, but the ultimate desire, the thing that I desired most was to have a home. And that's finally coming to fruition now. I remember in one episode, I don't remember which episode it was, but I remember saying, on your journey, don't be surprised if you end up right where you started. Words of encouragement to you would be to exit out the app and start back over. Humble yourself, and allow God to guide you this time. Do not be surprised if you start passing some familiar landmarks. Don't be surprised if you end up or you find yourself on the same road that you originally started from. Just keep driving. To me, that indicates that you were always exactly where you were supposed to be. You were always exactly where you needed to be. You just couldn't see it. There was no clarity. You couldn't see the opportunity. You couldn't see the beauty. You couldn't see the blessing in where you were. For me, I would say because you placed yourself, or you placed your own desires before God's. And that's definitely my final testimony. That's exactly where I am, currently. I had no idea then that this move was going to be a thing. This particular move was going to be a thing. You guys know in past episodes, I was trying to live in this little, fancy apartment downtown. And now I'm moving into my grandmother's house, which is my childhood home, which is the same home that I mentioned in my previous episode, my homeless story. And what's crazy is before I moved to New York, That's exactly where I was living before I left. At that particular time, my mother and I were actually living in the house together. What year was this? My grandmother has since passed, probably a year prior or something like that, a year or two prior. So we were living in that house together, and we ended up moving out of the house at the same time. So this house essentially could have been mine, should have been mine 6 years ago, but I didn't want no parts of that. I decided, nah, I'm not gonna stay. I'm gonna go ahead and go to New York. I didn't see the opportunity. I didn't see the blessing this was back then. It wasn't until I went through what I did, that I really gained an understanding of what I truly desired, i.e. what God desired for me. That I now feel so honored and so privileged to call my grandmother's house my own home. My grandmother raised me, and she did so much for me when she was here, when she was alive, and even in her death, even in her passing, her blessings are still coming. And I think that's, I'm not trying to get emotional and I'm not trying to get teary, but I just didn't realize the blessing of all this back then. Let me tell you something. Many of people have benefited greatly from my grandmother owning this home and it being kept in the family. That is what's really important to me at this point in my life. I want to be able to leave a legacy, and I want to be able to leave all these little pitter-patter feet. Don't. I'm watching you. I want to be able to leave a legacy for my children, and I want to be able to leave something behind for them and their kids too, when far after I'm long gone. And that's what my grandmother has done, and I didn't even realize that. I didn't look at it that way until now. Some of us would have really been on our knuckles struggling if we didn't have that house to fall back on. And I'm just super appreciative, I'm super grateful, and I'm super thankful. I don't really do New Year's resolutions, but I love the idea of dedicating the year to something specific. I love giving myself something to look forward to. And one thing I know about myself is that if I am really passionate about something, it will get done. Again, I dedicated 2020 to It Was Written, a project, embracing vulnerability, sharing my story. And this year, I really want to honor my grandmother, and I want to dedicate 2021 to remodeling and renovating her house. I am so excited about this new project that I'm taking on. I have a super clear vision about the whole thing, and my goal is to, by the end of this year, be able to reveal the makeover of the house to my family, which legitimately everybody in my family, in my immediate family, everyone in my family has lived in this house. So being able, I think, to do something like this is something that will make all of our hearts smile. So even though It Was Written, a project is coming to an end, this channel will be revamped, okay? I don't have a timestamp, or there's no specific date right now of when the intro to the new channel is coming, but when it does, you guys will be able to catch the process of everything that I'm doing with the house, the makeover. You're going to be able to catch that process and so much more. Until then, that's a wrap for It Was Written, a project. I love you guys. I appreciate your support, and I will see you soon. Thank you guys so much for watching.